Ephrata. Friends, let us pray silently for a minute. To be open enough to listen, to allow the Spirit to work with us. Friends, I don't know how many times I had been with the Thoma Church youth group. ഒരു പഴഞ്ചൻ കഥയായിരിക്കും കേൾക്കുന്ന ഓരോ തവണ. I can't speak about myself each time differently. It's the same story. But now when I stand here, I'm wondering what I am going to talk, because many people told me, even children, that they had been discussing in the catechism class. They had a lot of discussion. They have seen in the TV. They have read. So finished. Full stop to my story. Now what? Maybe we can interact. Or do you want me to say again, repeat the story? Yes? But for me it's not so easy, because I don't have many success stories to say. It's more failure stories, a lot of being many places, many times being misfit, all that. And it's the story of failures right from the beginning. Anyway, what I would be speaking is about my journey. It's not like what I did this, I didn't do this, but it's a way of life for me. It was my journey. I'm 73-year-old, and I think my journey began in some way at the age of 3. At the age of 3, when my father brought us, we the twins, my twin brother and myself, from another state, from Cochin state, from my mother's place, to his home. It was a totally different experience. We were a big family, nearly 4 generations lived together, always like a big feast. So many people eating, living, interacting. But the difference was, there was another kind of people on the other side. Outside the walls of the courtyard, a big number again. People who dressed up differently, people who spoke a different kind of dialect. I was attracted to these people. And they were singing, and so joyfully they were working. It was simply a kind of natural attraction on one side. On the other side, I felt very miserable about this big gap between we and they. It's not only the walls. At that time, we were not allowed to mingle with them. Of course, my people at home, they made jokes, they spoke, they were laughing, etc. And they were well paid. But then there was still something different, some big gap. I couldn't go close to them. They couldn't come inside this courtyard. From here began my question. And I was questioning why this kind. It started from there, and as I grew up, we were living in the village, lot of land, lot of exposure. I moved around, did a lot of things. As I started learning in the school, I started reading. Even before that, I heard a lot from storytelling from my father. He used to be often not at home, in the jail. He comes home. So vaguely, I knew this man, Gandhi, and the freedom fight, why he was in the jail, etc., in small stories and the jail experience. But when I went to school again, I was, from the time I could coin the words I would read, And two people fascinated my life. One, of course, Christ, but not the Christ whom we were told as usual way, but my first experience of that getting close to Christ was when I was in 6th standard in the catechism class. There was a picture which is very, very clear in my mind. Jesus chasing out with a broom from the temple, the people. My question was, could Jesus get angry? This question remained there. I never got satisfactory answer. And then, of course, Gandhi fascinated me, his life. But they all stayed on like that. As I read many people's life, one thing became very clear to me. I want to live a kind of adventurous life. But how, where, I didn't know. I want to serve the poor. I didn't know how. My father's, we are born and brought up in Catholic, very traditional, conservative, very pious Catholic people. My father's sisters all are nuns. Naturally, the kind of pull and push I got was to become a nun. And I also thought that's the only answer for me. So social work I didn't know. I didn't know any other field where I could serve the people. But then nothing what I saw did appeal to me. The congregations in the Kerala kind of atmosphere. It was before I finished school, when I was still in high school, there was a song from Preshita Kerala about missionaries. Kaattum mazhayum veilum manjum koottakkathe idaaro. About missionaries. This is what I want to be. Kaattum mazhayum veilum manjum onnum koottakkathe ee paavapettavarude idakku serve cheyyunna oralu. And I have seen the pictures of missionaries sitting under the tree with these half-naked people, serving them in the hospitals or in the dispensary, moving around, going on the cycles. I thought, this is what I want to be. The moment I said missionary, everybody said, no, you won't have the health. Born and brought up from 7 months, babies. We never had proper health. Always labeled as weak children. So everybody said you wouldn't survive. So this was another challenge for me. To make myself tough, I did everything possible to face this kaattum mazhayum veilum manjum koottakkathe oru life. So with this dream, I had a dream from then. Kaattum mazhayum veilum manjum koottakkathe. Carrying this dream, I went to Bihar to join a convent. The first day in the convent, my dreams got shattered. I thought I came to the wrong place. I didn't know how to get out. My first meals I had with tears, and they thought I had homesick child. Oh, homesickness, it's usual. I never knew what is homesickness. But I didn't know how to express. Each month I went and told very vaguely, sister, I think I have no vocation here. But I couldn't say I want to go back. I didn't want to go back home. But where is my vocation? Nobody could tell me. And I was not very articulate either. Everything was inside so heavy, so terrible. But I observed everything, all the role perfectly. They didn't find any problem with me, except that in the chapel, every prayer exercise, I cried. The rest of the time, I was fine, very good in many things. They sent me out for studies. But before that, the first Christmas came. Big preparation. And from the afternoon, the whole compound was full of tribals. As I saw in those magazines, half naked, not even wearing blouse, clad in little torn rags, carrying the babies on their back. And in that winter, with little fire, warming themselves, cooking some kanji. We were not supposed to speak to them. I was looking through the window just wanting to go to them, just being with them, being pushed or pulled. I couldn't stay. After the evening prayer, night prayer, I went to the bedroom. I couldn't stay. It's strict silence. I went to the mistress. With the trembling hands, I knocked on the door. I said, "Sister, I want to go. I just cannot stay." Every month I said, "I think I have no occasion." Now I said, "I want to go. I can't stay inside." We had a preparation for 1 month, Swiss chocolates and biscuits and cookies and all that, and big Christmas parcel. And I'm seeing these people there. So sister said, "Where do you want to go?" I said to those people there, "At this time, yes, I cannot stay in bed." She blessed me and she said, "Child, in obedience, you go to bed now. Tomorrow after the Mass, you go." But I didn't have the courage to say, "I want to go and get out." I was thinking if I say all this, they would say, "Child, you go now." They wouldn't say. So that day I made a very strong resolution. I will struggle till the day of my profession, till my formation is over. If I don't feel 100% all right, I'm not going to take the vows. But it didn't last long. They sent me out for studies. I forgot everything. Out in a college hostel, studied. Was supposed to go for medicine. I opted to come back for formation, and after that medicine, again started. Same problem. This is not the place for me. I can't be here. Something is there drawing me out. But somehow, I carried on for some more days. I had just 365 days of formation. Nearly a week before I was told, my mother superior called me and said, "Ticket is booked, you can go home." I said, "I don't want to go." "Where do you want to go?" "One of your mission stations where there are a lot of tribals." "Make me a Mali," I said, "gardener." Then they said no. They sent me somewhere else to be a teacher. I was out. Utterly helpless, darkness. Nobody would be there to guide me. But I felt something light, a sort of liberation. From that day started my experiment with my own life till today. To go the way which I was seeing very vaguely before me. My vision was very blurred. I couldn't explain how and what, but I knew this is what, the kind of life I had in mind. I couldn't speak to anybody because I had no courage. And wherever I spoke, sometimes some superiors, religious superiors, cardinal, bishop called me, sing my cry, and then they said, "You go to a psychiatrist." When I left, Cardinal Picachi said, "You go to a psychiatrist." I have not yet got. But this told me something is wrong with me, so I never dared to speak to anybody. All that I could do was go the way my inner voice was calling me. I taught for some time. From then on, I moved to many things. Wherever I felt I am called, mostly natural calamities, flood relief, cyclone, and Bangladesh war, all that. Nowhere I could stick. Always I was working under the umbrella of church. I was very loyal to church. Church is the only thing I knew. I didn't know any other. But my Bangladesh experience was something very, 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 very enriching. I saw a lot. That was the first time I felt in my mind what it means, a good human relationship. What is it to be with the war? Really, from then on I prayed very strongly, Lord, there may never be a war. And also the war victims, mainly women and children. I was out in Bangladesh, human misery, terrible, terrible. Just because of the language, Urdu speaking and Bengali speaking language. What all happened? And who paid the price for it? The experience in the war area and also working with the victim taught me a lot. From then, I moved slowly away from the church umbrella and more to the secular area. And also I want to know about the field of social work. I came straight, without even going home, straight to Bombay to do MSW. With this dream again, to go somewhere to the marginalized, to the downtrodden, to the people who need help, to the people who have nobody, and to become equipped, I thought I will do social work. Before that, I had done so many things, nursing and tailoring and a lot of things to work with women. But here, concretely, social work, professional social work. Here also I was a misfit. I couldn't stay on for long because it was so much American-based, very urban-oriented. This wouldn't do any help to me, I thought. Every time I went to the supervisor, I said, I'm not happy with this course. There isn't anything that would help me to become skillful to work in a rural area. Somehow I completed my first year. I walked off from the college. A degree was not important. Went out again. Again roamed here and there to look for my field. Stayed in the slums. Lived in the footpath. All kinds of things. After about 8 years of gap, I came back. My college was very good. They would listen to all the suggestions, criticisms that way. I was very fortunate to tell you that I had a very good family that would give me a lot of values. I had a very good convent. Though the work was, the life was very rich. Life was not what I wanted, but the work was very relevant. Our congregation said, need of the time is the will of God. And they lived it. I'm very proud to have been in such a convent, to have some days of formation at least. The same way my college also was very open for changes. After 8 years, the college had changed the curriculum twice. I came back. Happily, I had been given a lot of freedom to do whatever I wanted, to go to the field, to opt whatever I wanted. So, as part of my research and fieldwork, I came. I didn't need to be in group. One exception given to me, which nobody got. They said, you can go anywhere. I came to Madhya Pradesh for my research because I had said very much tribal-dominated area. And here began my work about 34 work or life for the past 34 years. I finished my research, went back. Now, during this period, I came prepared to live with the Gonds. I knew they are very superior royal tribes. They ruled 11 centuries. And I had also read that they consider all other people far below them, untouchables. They are royal. So I come with this to meet these royal people. I was given a small place on the veranda of a tribal widow. I'm not allowed to enter into their house. I can't touch their vessels. I can't go to the fireplace. I stayed there. Early morning I used to get out, spend all my time wherever I could, meet people, merge with them, played with children, went with the women to the forest to bring firewood, worked in the field along with them, went for a common bath with women to the river. Every time I came back home with a lot of rich experience, new discoveries, new learnings. I had to put aside my MSW and all that behind. Here I thought I will learn a lot. One day when I came back, my neighbor came, Bai, thoda chai patti de do. Give some tea leaves. I brought. People didn't give much tea, but once in a way, they brought from the weekly market. Till it is there, they had it. Then maybe till next market day. When I asked, क्यों क्या हुआ? Bai को delivery हो रहा है. The wife was delivering. She is in labor pain. She's asking for tea. The nearest shop or the market, it is 8 to 10 kilometers. And this is night already. I brought tea leaves. With lot of fears, I wasn't sure how I would be accepted. I wasn't sure what kind of reply I would get. I asked, "Main bhi aa jaun, chai patti deke." I wanted to go inside, not only because I knew nursing and I wanted to help. More than that, I was curious to see how they conduct the delivery. And if there is an emergency situation, I thought without anything I could help in some or other way. But I wanted to be there. I went in there. The woman was sitting on the floor, squatting. 2 women helped, village women, illiterate. And I sat with her whole night. It was very difficult delivery. The child was very big and big-headed. Took the whole night for her to deliver. And all that I did was stay with her, hold her hands, give a little stroke once in a way, a soft word, share her aches and pains. I could feel her emotions, her pains. I didn't have many words, didn't do much, but lot of new experience. But when that was over in the morning, the women said, "Aa jao." I followed them because now I'm not supposed to enter my house. I'm polluted. I couldn't even go to take a change of clothes. I went with them, had a bath, came back with a wet, and here began a new relationship. Till now, all the tribals saw me as a Bombay wali. पढ़ने के लिए आई है. That day this woman Chandra told me, अभी तक तुम बॉम्बे वाली थी, आज से तुम मेरी गोई हो. गोई means very close intimate friend for the women. It's only for the women. Woman friend. So she said, आज से तुम मेरी गोई हो. And then as a gift of this being with her, she said, दीपावली में हम लोग, मेरे भाई आएंगे, हम अपने मायके जाएंगे. When we go to her parents' house, तुम आ जाओ मेहमान बन के. This was something great, came from her heart. I was very happy because I was always looking for ways to make new entries, new places, meet new people. I went back after my study, came back. Now, finished my study. I came back thinking I will do further research, but I wanted to be here. And for the Deepavali, when I went to her place, nearly 25 kilometers walking, and when I reached towards night, everybody was running away, especially the young girls and women. Oh, saya sari wali aa rahi hai. They were wearing sari like tarwachi, kashta, and I was wearing like this. So I felt my dress is becoming a barrier. I'm a foreigner according to them, and they ran away. So this barrier, always I'm conscious of the gap, and here my dress makes the gap. Whenever I have problem, I telephone to Parwala. Those days there was no mobile or STD or anything. Telephone, enter her house, and she was there to receive me. But apart from that, I could see everyone disappearing, lot of fears, whispering. After washing the legs, I sat down near the fireplace for warming. There were few people sitting. Everybody was silent. Nobody was speaking out. And I feel also very uncomfortable because my presence makes them feel strange, fearsome. Could see in their face. Slowly I started asking some question, Bhaiya bazaar gaye the, etc., etc. And spoke a little. Then one man asked me, तुम क्यों हमारे बीच में आए, हम जंगल के बंदर हैं? That man you saw in the film, that old man, near him I was sitting, he was the eldest man in the village, the headman. हम जंगल के बंदर हैं, we are monkeys of the forest, why did you come? We are राजगोंस, हम राजवंश हैं. बोलने वाले, now he says, हम जंगल के बंदर हैं. And what he doesn't say, you people are big people, why did you come to us? I was hurt. I felt really hurt and pained. And immediately, like flashback, lot of things came to me which I was feeling very strongly in the bus. How the tribals are treated, how these half-naked people are made to get up to give space for somebody else who comes with the so-called better dress, modern. And I said, Nahi, Dada, here I learned a lot of new things. I'm so happy here. What I don't get in Bombay, I'm getting here. I enjoy the life, etc. It didn't mean anything to him. But I shared the meals with them. I spoke little. And I came to know that night itself that here people, nobody was literate there. And somebody brought some papers to me which told me that mostly everybody had bank loans, which many fake loans also. They brought all that. After I sat and sang some song, the situation was a little bit more relaxed. But that night when I was lying down, these words were echoing. Hum jungle ke bandar hai. I was questioning myself, who made them bandar? Who made them monkeys? They were Rajgons, 11 centuries they ruled. It's their land there. And now, people like you and me, who says we are developed. Today also somebody asked about develop. We have to redefine develop. People who think we are civilized. People who think we are educated. The way we treated them. We injected inferiority complex into them by mocking and laughing at their dress, at their dialect. The kind of medical practice, pranic healing, which we call today beautifully, but in their language, jadana, we say superstition. I don't say it is superstition. But I felt really very strongly how they are so dehumanized. And then that night while I was lying down, the first Christmas comes to me. The first Christmas. I said very shortly my journey, but I must say here, during my journey, when I had no one to help, I was digging and digging through Bible. നിങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഈ മാർത്തോമാ ചേർച്ചുകാരൊക്കെ ബൈബിൾ അരച്ചു കലക്കി കുടിക്കുന്നവരാണെന്ന് കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. But we Catholics, we lay people never had hold of Bible. It's only priests. But I purposely went through Bible, digging into, because I didn't have any other place to go to. Nobody gave me a satisfying answer. Nobody gave me an encouraging word because I was crazy. And the first Christmas had been a very strong message for me. I had been questioning God, if He was the Son of God, why God had to choose such a way. He could have thought of any fantastic thing to teach us, to save us. But why He had to be born in such a place with nothing, the poorest of the poor, not even a place to be born. And who got the first message? The rejected, the so-called dakus of the society, the shepherds, the nomads, who were not even allowed to enter into the village. So, here I had the answer. What I had to do was here to bridge the gap. the fusion of divinity with humanity. It's a strong message. And I thought what I would do is to bridge the gap in small, small way. I didn't come here to do things for them. So next morning, first thing was the first barrier, sari. I had brought the long 9-meter sari, but I thought I will wear for Deepavali. I couldn't wait. I had to change the barrier very soon. Make it easy to communicate, make it easy to relate. Finish time? So I told Chandra, sari pahanne ko sikhao. So Chandra taught me to wear sari. Laughing and giggling, I went through the process, but I could feel my inner pain, that breaking of my ego, coming to the lowest standard of dress, which is not accepted by the others. And they said, "Tum padhe likhe, tum kachwali pahanogi?" I said, yes. But it was a beautiful experience. I stayed a few days, and during those days, just merged with them, worked with them, shared their life, went to bathe together, worked in the field, finished. Celebrated Deepavali. By then we could already feel the barriers breaking. We could hold hands, we could laugh, play together, sing together. And I was going back. I came to celebrate Deepavali. 1 week I stayed. When I was going, the people came up to the nearest hill and they said, "Bhai, tum laut ke wapas aa jao. You come back to us." It was an invitation, but that time I wasn't sure where I am going to live, where I am going to start with. I was with that tribe, that was only a temporary field. I'm looking for a place where I would really begin. So I wasn't still sure. I thought I will see a lot of things told me this may be the place. 3 different kind of people lived here. One main tribe, one sub-tribe, and one non-tribe, but all lived together. But lot of tug of war for power. So when I think of building a people as a community, I thought there is a challenge. But yet for many reasons, I couldn't make the decision then. I came back here on Christmas to celebrate Christmas. My last day of Christmas celebration, as we normally celebrate, the material way was in the convent. After that, no more. But I celebrate Christmas to live the spirit of Christmas as I understand. And so I come here to celebrate Christmas. I started. These are not Christians. For me, it was Christmas celebration. I started now not on Chandra's place, but somewhere else. And when I came first, already people spoke about some kind of problem with the wages. They were receiving wages for 5 rupees from the forest. And that day in the market, they were told, from next week you are going to get according to cubic meter, 18 rupees cubic meter. So they were saying, what is this cubic meter? Who will calculate? How will we know that we will not be cheated? We get the right wage. All this was there. I knew they would not trust outside it. I knew they couldn't calculate. They were not sure. So this was the first problem that I sensed. Of course, there was no drinking water, no electricity, no literacy, nothing. But bank loan was there. But this was crucial thing for me, this wage problem. First itself, I said, "Oh, mazduri ka kya ho gaya?" Then sir, they were so happy that I related to their issue. So they said, 1 week we got according to Ghan meter, but now again 5 rupees per day. Okay. Now, how will I know what is the minimum wages? I didn't know in Madhya Pradesh what was the minimum wages. So next day, I started working. I told them not to disclose to anybody, my behenji, my so and so, blah, 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 blah. So, it was not easy because you had to measure according to Ghan meter. We worked, dig and make the road or carry the wood, pile up 1 Ghan meter. I did that. After a few days, anytime when the money is released on a market day, you are paid. So you go there with the people. And I saw how people are taking the money and give the thumb impression. I also did, not just to imitate. I didn't want anybody to know that I'm literate, I could read, etc. But I do drama, so I dramatized later Kahan Lagana and turned the pages here and there, and I saw we were signing against a blank column. I got the clue what they are doing. Returning, I explained to them, I think we are still getting that according to ghन meter, but now we are paid 5 rupees per day, because there was name, signature, amount of work, amount of money, khali. So here I had the answer now, what to do with the people. My first issue, I discussed with people, they were not ready. 5 rupees is quite good. With 5 rupees you could buy 2 kilo makka, and little money still left for salt and chili. So I thought till they are ready, I am not going to. I wait for an opportunity. It so happened once police caught me because I hadn't registered with the local police and I'm an outsider. And this brought me to the higher officials, and that brought me to a group of IAS officers who came for their training. That brought me in touch with all the government officials, every department. So I got every detail, all the knowledge, what I wanted. I come back now ready to teach the people. And also I made the officers to know here is a village, because they were explaining every village has got school, every village has got electricity, but here there was no school, electricity, only air is electrified, transformer is reached. That's all. No household connection. So when all this was told, they took me to the collector. We asked for, they said this is what is happening. Here is a village where there is no school. Collector sent immediately a class 1 officer for the villagers to have a dialogue. They asked immediately a school and also a well. 2 things simultaneously. We got it, though it was nearing the end of the school year, February 1st, a master comes to the village, starts teaching on somebody's veranda or under the tree. And I started legal literacy simultaneously. Ha, ma, hum, kam, mazduri, things like that. Hum, kam, mazduri. That was the first word for weeks. Along with that, all the wages that they had to get were taught, and their minimum wages for various kind of work, and a lot of other things. I had also papers from everybody, so now their basic right, constitutional right, fundamental right. And I saw how the villagers sing. So I made little songs to teach them this, small skits or theater. So with this way, I thought once they know their rights, they will jump. We had to get wages according to this ghन meter. We are still getting 5. No, 5 is quite okay. They were not prepared for a fight. Finally, 2 men come to me saying, Behenji, before the rainy season, we want to get all that money according to ghन meter. So many months' work. You help. If the whole village is together, yes. We did. My first issue. But when we went to the district with 2 people to give the memorandum, to give the complaints, here something else happened. They tutored the people. They tried to pay some amount of money and to make them silent, close their lips. But when I come back, it takes 2-3 days to come back to the village, because you walk 20-30 kilometers, travel in a bus, nearly 100 kilometers. So when I came back, I knew what happened. Anyway, when the officers asked, everybody said, no complaints, I got all the money. But there were 2 women and myself, 3 women said the truth and we got the money. That was the beginning of a big new story and end of a story also. Because that day, for the first time, my legal education didn't do any good. It was a failure. But today, for the first time, they felt we can even complain against a government official and nothing happens, we still can get the money. Because these two women, they were told you will be taken to the police station, you will go into court case, you will not get work as a punishment, all this. But here they see, they could get. And with that, their eyes were open. I could see power coming to them, thorough change of their face. And next, the forest department tried varied things to give us punishment. Not to let us bring firewood from the field, not to let us go for work, because we are people who fight. Every time, in some or other way, we had to go ahead. And for me, my way of the cross also began. After this, lot of stories about me. She's Isai, she's Christianizing, she's speaking English, foreign CID, and after some time, and because people started coming to me for help, for my bad luck, I bought a pony, and going on the pony, that time Fulan Devi was really very famous there. They linked me with her. So all kinds of things. It was not so easy to go. Wherever you go, you get taunting, you get complaints, you are called to the official, and the Tahsildar comes to me and challenge, or what do you do? Nothing happens. Things like that. So for a time it was like that. On the other side, people started pouring to this village for help. Then I thought I was going on. But after some time I felt this is not enough. I have to make the strong people, get people strong and get organized. And we used to tell the stories of the man who made his children to get united with that bundle of sticks. All that little things, but it wasn't coming. One fine day, some young men came to me. Hum gatha bandhana shuru kiya. We have started to tie the bundle. What do you say? We want to come together. Some 7 panchayats, means about 21 villages, average 2 or 3 villages in a panchayat. I thought about 75 people, but I saw about 300 people by noon carrying their roti on the back and here. Nothing much happened in the meeting except that everybody was saying their story. In the end, they said, we want more and more this kind of meeting. Humko samiti banana hai. We want to form a kind of union, association. And this kind of meeting went on and on till it became a huge number. And I knew I would have problem because I was getting also clue from here and there. There are no church, but the nearest church is 100 kilometers. I was getting a little bit of hint from a bishop who was very supportive. Go slow. There are a lot of complaints about you. You are creating trouble. It's going to be harmful for the church, etc., etc. Anyway, after some time I thought I will go slow. And using this opportunity, I thought I will enter into the government school to teach legal literacy, and started like that. Now I went slow. My first phase was immersion, which is going on even now, and then very active phase. And then I thought this is not enough. I want to have to multiply myself. Lot of people with me, so started training. But in this, I think I am still not succeeded. It's a failure in a way. There are people occasionally when you take up issue, but not really with you all along. There are people who are with you in the heart, but not when you really need. And so slowly I began this big activity, and also many things happened which made me move out from that village after 16 years, more on the roadside. My father died, and I was forced to take my share of money. Because I never went for funeral, but to satisfy my father's unfulfilled wish, that's what my brother said. I never took anything from home, so he was always complaining. He couldn't give me anything. So I had to take some money, and many things happened to tell me that I take a kind of different direction also now. Because in this village, I saw many things with the government, World Bank work and the kind of development work, how it is affecting the nature, how deforestation, how chemical fertilization, hybrid seeds, and people also began to see how their traditional kind of agricultural pattern is being destroyed. And people becoming slowly disturbed. This was actually for me, my serious attention about environment started here, from these literate people, not from books or from others. And then I wanted to experiment on that. And here another NGO comes with a lot of money and with a totally different kind of approach. So I moved out. And since then, another 16, 17 years, I am in this village, mainly doing a lot of experiment on soil and on water, natural resource, doing organic farming, etc. But along with that, lot of serious issues also, because I couldn't be saying that I will do only that. I think I will stop at this time, but a few things I want to add before I end up. See, all along this life, especially when I declassed, when I moved into the public, I saw what it means to be a lowest class woman in a public place, in Delhi, in a railway station, in a reservation compartment, how you are taken up. And also in these places, I had to walk hours and hours, or go on my horse, rest here and there under the tree, alone, nowhere usually people to disturb. All this had a lot of time for me to listen to my inner voice, to see minutely things, to pay attention to small things, small people, things which I had perhaps not taken, given much attention to it. And I think today these small things, these small people, the small things of the creation are very important. And based on this, I have written a poem. I would read it. In the end, before I close, I want also to say thank you to all the people who bear with me, who invited me, who brought me, especially the Thoma church, where I have felt rather comfortable to be with compared to my church. It's always a new experience, and I can feel the energy flowing each time. Each time it is new experience. Of course, sharing of my experience is not a pleasant thing, because I often feel it's worthless, and there isn't much to say, much worthy things. It's always a kind of going on from one to the other, not real achievement, but yet I learn a lot, I grow a lot. It is people like you who have helped me to look into myself more closely and also to articulate, and these things also help me to strengthen my vision. ഈ ഒപ്പോസിഷനും ഇതൊക്കെ ആയിരുന്നെങ്കിലും എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്ന ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഒപ്പോസിഷനാണ് എൻ്റെ വിഷൻ മൂർച്ചയും മൂച്ചും കൂട്ടിയത് അതാണ്. ബട്ട് യെറ്റ് മച്ച് മോർ ദാൻ ദാറ്റ്, ഓൾസോ ദർ ആർ പീപ്പിൾ ഹു തിങ്ക് അലൈക്ക്. യു മീറ്റ് സംടൈംസ് പീപ്പിൾ ഹു ആർ ടു സേ ദാറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് ഹെൽപ്പ് ദം. It gives a kind of new vision, help them to look into their self. For me also it's a new experience, and I end up with this poem, Beyond the Small Things. See, very often I like to say this to the youth also, and in people who grow up in such material world. I also grew up rather affluent, but being with the smallest, being with the little, being with the minimum, especially in today's context, in the so-called globalization, where you see everything, everyone going up, and at the same time we don't notice one group of people, even place, nature, destroyed completely, murdered, I would say. Beyond the small things, when I look up to the sky, When I look up to the sky, I see the tiny stars scattered all over. On the seashore or on a riverside, I notice the grains of sand for which hardly anyone cares. All along the fields and the forests, I look at the tiny wild pink beauty and see the little blue flower with just 2 little leaves below it. The insects and worms break the monotony of the green meadow. They are the finishing touch of the great artist. Look at the often unnoticed people, the small people. These half-naked humans, those nose-watering small children, playing so very carefree. Do you see that bundle of bones with a bit of skin and flesh around? Clad in torn rags, she's called a poor woman. Do you see her trying to fit in the crowd that cares not? Look into her eyes. Enter into her heart. Put yourself in her naked feet. Now, listen. Listen to your inner voice. You will never be the same. Great are the small things. Great are the small people. Great is the Creator who made them. And it's great to find greatness in them. Thank you. I think I like to give you times to ask questions, to criticize, to point your finger at, whatever you want to do. To clarify things. Anyone? Any kind of questions? Otherwise, I had a lot of things. I thought it's better that I give you more times, because usually people ask a lot and time is not enough. Nothing? Yes.
From the very childhood, you are not satisfied.
Yes. Something disturbing. I don't know exactly the word to put in, but I wasn't quite okay.
Something of you are not satisfied
Yes.
with society or with
Yes.
that kind of things.
Yeah.
What about the present situation you are going through? Are you satisfied with your work, or someone else has to carry forward? Have you ever thought of the future?
See, as I said, I don't see it as my work. I do work. I see it as my way of life. On that part, I'm quite satisfied. But I'm not satisfied with the situation. What is happening there? What is happening around?
For that, do you have any advice to be given to the youngsters, like all those who gathered?
See, I don't know what advice to give you. What I would like to say is, see, what kept me going on, what kept me rooted in my kind of vision and my journey. This I like to say. I said I had been digging through Bible. One thing I said the first Christmas. Second thing that strongly stayed with me was the manifesto. Luke chapter 4, 16 to 21. The kingdom message. And the reflection on it, it's not enough to reflect on that. Any amount you reflect, each time you are challenged, your faith is deepened, your vision is clear. And along with that, when I did MSW and LLB I did, but during MSW I did first time some part of law. And I read preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic, and to give to all its citizens justice, social, political, and economic, liberty of thought, belief, faith, expression, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, enact, adopt, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Wonderful promises, wonderful commitment. It's for India, not for Dubai. But for Dubai and all this UN Charter of Declaration, all that is more or less same. But the kingdom message is also very much alike. Just reflect on that. I was meditate every time it is new experience. Christ, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He went into the temple. I had no answers till today. How he got the chance to read when there are so many well-learned men. These carpenters, ഈ ആശാരിപ്പണിക്കാരൻ്റെ മകനോട് അത് വായിക്കാൻ പറയാൻ കാരണം I don't know. This is something strange for me. But the way he said it, and the kind of response created. I'm sure people who had been magically touched by his words. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He didn't say, go and preach, start new kind of worship, new kind of prayer, new rituals. Go and say, I have come. He said, to release the oppressed, to give sight to the blind, to give freedom to the oppressed. And in the end, Jubilee year, that egalitarian society, that was the vision. And for that, how could he say, that young man? This I was questioning. He was doing carpentry work with his father, but I'm sure he was watching everything that was happening around. He was feeling the ache and pain. He could feel the emotions of the people around. He was keeping it inside while he was working. And then he went to pray alone. He went quietly with all this experience, all what he saw, all what he felt, the whole emotion. He could cry, he could laugh. He went there and prayed. And then he could say strongly, this is what he couldn't do it alone. If you can take out from this is the message. I would say in 3 letters, 3 L's. Look, listen, learn from Christ, from the little things and little people around you, from the world around you. Also, from the nature. The nature is crying aloud today. We don't listen. The only answer for this is to change our way of life. At least to begin some day, not to see that it is destroyed. If you can go with this. When I came here, normally I like to contextualize my talk. I wanted to go here around and see a little bit. I'm not Dubai Darshan, I don't want. But then I heard about some labor camp. I wanted to know whether there are this kind of less privileged people. Are there poor people? Is there poverty? These are all questions. I had wanted to see that. Because going close to them, you get charged. And if you can go back to Christ. This charging word is so usual for you. Not for us village people. We are not usually using this word, getting charging. It's only rare. But who will charge? How can we get charged? These people this situation, this plant, these trees, this nature, this water, this soil. Yes, also a close contact with Christ. If this can be, I have no answer. I was thinking in the beginning, I will only say this. Look, listen, learn. Take time with yourself. If each time when you see things, I'm sure very often when we travel and all, we don't want to see the kind of people who are so-called down there, the beggars, the less privileged. I want to tell you also now here, I like to add, because since you are all Malayalis, till I had my Vanita Woman of the Year award, when I travel in the Kerala Express down south, I could never, initially I used to cry aloud. I used to run to the bathroom and cry. People can't see your human face because you are dressed poorly. And they, even having my reserved seat sitting there, they would push me out. Ud jao, nikal jao idhar se. Even this, when I was coming here, now, I traveled by train. I was coming to Ernakulam. I had my ticket up to Kottayam, and in between, I thought I will get down somewhere where I had to collect some things. Next day, I had to take my flight. 2 police. One woman and one man. Said, അടുത്ത സ്റ്റേഷനിൽ ഇറങ്ങിക്കോണം കേട്ടോ, അടുത്ത സ്റ്റോപ്പിൽ ഇറങ്ങിക്കോണം കേട്ടോ. I said, why? ഒരു മലയാളത്തിലൊരു വലിയ പ്രസംഗമൊന്നും വേണ്ട, ഇറങ്ങിക്കോണമെന്നാണ് പറയും. I said, and meantime, that young man, he was taking my photos on the mobile. I said, stop it. Then I started in English. Because I have cheap clothes, I look like a 4th class woman, a beggar, this Pandichile. This is it. And then somebody said, oh, adu Daya Bai. I don't need any respect because I am Daya Bai, the woman of the year. You treat me as a human being, as a citizen. My clothes may be poor. So, this is very often. Each time. And each time it takes you back to those people who are exploited, who are poor. So if you can just feel, I think in this modern world we tend to be deaf, blind, and least sensitized. If you can come back to your sense, feel with them. I say feel. Feelings are dead. It's not there. So my message is, I don't want to give direct message. You can take out from it. Sometimes I feel very bad when I go to Kerala because with all this so-called English medium, CBS standard, high school education, I think many good people are really personal, are murdered. I give you an example. This is also in answer to that. I had been on invitation, not because I want to talk, in many schools and colleges, CBSE, English medium, and also government schools. But when I talked to government schools, it was beautiful experience. They had no problem. Sometimes they didn't even know. They knew Daya Bai is here. They are calling me. Children didn't know. Staff didn't know. Just at the time of the assembly, I'm there. And 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours standing there in that sand. And children could spontaneously ask questions. They could be with you. But when I spoke in the English, like statues, they sat there. No feelings, dead people. It's not exaggeration. And in one government school, I'm still keeping like a relic. That principal said, Daya Bai, ഈ പാവപ്പെട്ട ആദിവാസികളുടെ ഇടയ്ക്കാണ് ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്നത്, നിങ്ങളുടെയൊക്കെ കൈ വല്ലതും ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് കൊടുത്തേരെ കേട്ടോ, അവരവരുടെ കുട്ടികൾക്കോ വല്ലവർക്കോ ഒക്കെ ഉപയോഗിച്ചോളും, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കാണാൻ മേലെ ദയ ബൈ എങ്ങനെയാണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് ഏകദേശം മനസ്സിലായാലും. I was surprised, everybody was putting here and there, and came about more than 5,000, one simple government high school. And near me, some children, I saw one young girl in a purse, everybody putting into that coins, their bus fare perhaps, or pocket money. These are usually laborers' children, government school, no? And when she gave me, I saw one little girl, they put in that. And I asked, a purse, adu venda, adu buy vachu. Kiri, she had no problem, no inhibition. Kiri paranjadana adinte outside layer. And still she gave it to me and she said, no, she didn't think, oh, Daya Bai and velliya aala idu thodu kodutha. No second thought, just free. Yes, so free people. I was so moved. Next time when I went to the city, I packed a nice new purse and I told the principal, I forgot the name. I said, give to that girl who had given me a purse. But beautiful experience, they could touch. But in this English medium school, nobody could touch me. I don't think they were touched by me either. And I think the first day they put their tie and shoes, they began to be murdered. It's their death sentence. Sangadam thonum chelappo. So with all this, what is the answer? I don't say you have to be like Gandhi or Daya Bai or, like this. But wherever be, if you are sensitized, if you are sensitive enough, you can expand. Somebody is just stretching your lips and little bit smile. Somebody is stretching their hand and entering into a relationship. No? It's a beautiful experience. ഞാനിങ്ങനെ തെണ്ടി നടന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്, അതുകൊണ്ട് എനിക്കറിയാം. If somebody can show a little, minding, considering them, feeling, taking interest. So, ഇങ്ങനെ ഈ യൂത്ത് കോൺഫറൻസ് ഇതുപോലെ നല്ല വലിയ ടോപ്പിക് എക്സോഡസും വിഷനും ഒക്കെ ഉള്ള പിന്നെ അവർക്ക് വേറെ I don't think they need to be said anything. തീർന്നോ? Yes.
Mission and vision. How can we be part of your service?
I don't know because I'm not yet. See, right now, one thing, I never had a registered society, never had so-called fund, anything. But I live with what I get. But in the last few years, I got a lot of award. That comes for workway. People come also for experience, stay there, and they do some kind of work for some time. But right now, I didn't say that part because those things will go on very long. I'm in a kind of full stop now because I had been taking last few years lot of big issues. One young girl was sold for 60,000 and she was just missing 2.5 months, not even FIR, and somebody sent them Daya Bai ke paas jao and they come to me. When I took up that issue, I saw how terrible the situation. I thought it is so simple, lot of opposition. Another way, one little tribal village, I started teaching when the Sarpanch, Panchayat President, no school for there. And I started teaching. Simply, no institution, educating them. It was very, very big experience for me because we so thoroughly changed the village. And from that day, series of torture, strategically planned torture, last nearly 10 years I am going through. And it reached a stage last year around this time, middle of the night, there would be people in front of my house threatening to rape and to kill, and all those people who are with me, I didn't know what to do. There were many times when I thought I'm going to end my life because of my human dignity's violation. But that day, I rang up to a High Court judge who was a lawyer in the High Court who helped me in that case free with no money. And also a lady IG who was my supporter. Before I was beaten up by the police, I met her, and when I was beaten up by the police, she was one who helped me in some way or other, though she was not in power. So this kind of people, then I saw how bad the situation is. Nobody listened. 10 years I'm fighting. Last Women's Day, I went on a hunger strike for one day. This October 2nd, I gave my ultimatum to the MP Kamal Nath, our Chief Minister, Collector, all the possible. My last letter. When I go back, I'm going to fight. I'm going to indefinite fast, whatever step, expose the whole thing. If there is nobody with me also, I'm going to do that. Maybe High Court writ, how people can be. Just now I have some people who would be volunteering with me to go along, whatever I do. I don't know how you can. There were people who helped me with banners, posters, etc.
Don't you think if you have an NGO organization to...
See, I'm afraid. When I see what is happening, in my place there were no NGOs when I raised. And now, like mushrooms, there are NGOs. They are doing hardly anything. All are there to have their unemployment solved, the members. So I'm afraid if I create, I don't know how the people, unless I have a group of really good people with me. Maybe right now I have 2-3 people who came from Delhi and told me, because I'm now thinking not so much of this kind of big issues. Of course, I will not stop. The kind of work which I did, we don't need to do now, because they don't need that unless there is a serious issue. What I need is what I did with the nature, etc., to multiply in some other villages in a big way. Water, for instance, where there was no water, I did a lot of work. There is water. And also now somebody else is planting eucalyptus. I discussed with many, nobody wants to support because it's a big NGO with lot of money. So one thing, what I am going to do is write. Also many people tell me you must write. I talk even because of people like you, otherwise I'm not interested in saying my story for the sake of others, if it helps somebody. So now what I have come is to write my own story. There are 2 books here. One is Daya Bai, The Lady with Fire. Another is Pachaviral. But I don't call it really biography, autobiography either, because there are some things. But I'm seriously keeping in writing now in mind. It hasn't come on the paper. Unless I have somebody to help me, to be with me, I won't be able to do. Then a kind of Badal education I am planning. A kind of living, breaking all these barriers, class, caste, religion, and living together with that fraternity values. And also educating children with this, keeping them close to people, relate to people within the family, and also related well, rooted in the soil. They are all rooted in the soil, but education takes them away. So this kind of education I plan. But how it's going to be materialized, I don't know. You can think. Anyway, for me it is very difficult to say.
You have reflected Christ to the poor people, but have you reflected Christ to the people who don't know how unprivileged these people are?
How?
How unprivileged the poor people are.
Unprivileged.
Yeah. Have you reflected Christ?
Reflected.
Yeah, reflected Christ to the people
Who are not Christian.
To the rich people.
To rich people.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is
I think I have spoken more to rich people about Christ.
in Madhya Pradesh.
I give you example. In Madhya Pradesh, once one officer, soon after Christmas, he wished me, he said, Bada Din Ka Mubarak, means your big days. Bada Din is Christmas. And then I asked, when he said Mubarak, then he asked, Aap kahan tyohar manaya? Where did you celebrate the festival? I said, Manaya? Kya baat hai manana? Then he said, Aap logon ka bada khana, puja, all that. Then he said also, that bada baba, what is it? What is he called? Santa Claus. So he said all this. A very good officer. He supports me at all. Oh, I said, oh, that is not Christmas, I said. Then after I came home, I wrote a long letter, about 3-4 pages, reflecting what Christmas is, how I understand Christmas, it's Christ becoming all that. Later he said, मैडम मैं कभी नहीं जानते थे क्रिसमस ये है मैं तो he said I was educated in a Christian institution but I didn't know this is Christmas. For him Christmas was a packet of sweets and cake. He thought that was Christmas. But this is Christmas exactly. He didn't know, he said. And then he said, oh, I'm so happy I met somebody who is so, aap bahut gehra hai, you are so deep, he said. And this kind of, okay, sometimes people greet me on Good Friday. It is written on the calendar, Good Friday, no? So when I move somewhere, they say, Tihar ka Mubarak, means Happy Good Friday. They're very innocent people. So I tell them what Good Friday is. So this way. And also village people also sometimes, because, my life, if you know, there is no timetable. Sometimes I come in the middle of the night, I get up from the bus, I'm walking through this jungle forest, 20 or even more kilometers, you reach almost in the morning. Then people ask, are you not afraid? Also when there was opposition, people, no, they used to say, you don't go alone. And then they say, Tumhara Bhagwan aisa hai. Your God is like this. How? Then I tell them, it was the same kind of life that I was living. He was even more serious problem, big issues. I am doing small things. And he did this kind of work, so he was like that. So like this, a simple way, small stories.
Hello. Charcha.
Finished.
Continue.
Yes, somebody was.
Last one. Question last one.
Oh, that most superlatively great story. Sometimes it is all least also. But most, I don't know, sometimes, I think the most challenging was certain times you just don't know what to do, which step to take. There were so many times when I cried really loud, alone, sometimes telling the animals around, the calf or cow or the dog, and cried aloud, taking the words of Cardinal Newman, lead kindly lights, and one step is enough for me. So thank you all very much. We'll see again tomorrow, I think.
ഹൃദയത്തിൽ നിറഞ്ഞത് ഇനി ഏത് വാക്കുകൾക്കാണ് താങ്ങാനാവുക? നന്ദി.